Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas, and today I want to talk about the PlayStation 6. Yes, I know the PlayStation 5 Pro has not long come out, and we are roughly halfway through this generation of consoles, but there is no doubt in anybody's mind that Sony is already hard at work on the PlayStation 6. What will that include? Who knows at this point. Will it have a disk drive? Well, it better had to, otherwise people aren't going to buy it. Trust me on that one. Trust me, bro. Anyway, I specifically want to talk about backwards compatibility. Now, Sony have always gone with backwards compatibility apart from the PlayStation 4, but we'll get to that in a moment. If we look at the PlayStation, there was nothing to go backwards compatible with. Look at the PlayStation 2, that was backwards compatible with the PlayStation 1. And then we had the PlayStation 3, where they thought they could do backwards compatibility on PS2, but then they decided to just cut it off, basically. Long story short, the old models, or at least some of the old models, if it had 4 USB ports on the front of your PS4, it was backwards compatible with PS2 and PS1. All other models are only backwards compatible with PS1. PS4, no backwards compatibility whatsoever. Lucky for Sony, Microsoft stumbled. Now, on the topic of Microsoft, they have always been a bit of an advocate for backwards compatibility. Not to say that they're great at it, because they're not. No company is fantastic at backwards compatibility. But all things considered, I would say Microsoft probably is just better than Sony in terms of backwards compatibility. Anyway, moving on. PlayStation 5 naturally had PlayStation 4 backwards compatibility. Where does that leave PlayStation 6? Well, there has been talk of the PlayStation 5 being able to play PS3 games on disc at some point. Where this got to in the world of, rumours and leaks, I don't know. I really don't know. Is it ever going to happen? Probably not. Not at all. I can't see the PlayStation 5 getting some sort of patch to play PS3 games. However, this is where I think the PS6 will come into play. Naturally, the PS6 is going to be able to play PS5 games. It would only make sense. Disc games as well. Now, it does come to my attention that the PS5 Pro didn't ship with a disc drive. I would expect the PS6 to be the same. It won't ship with a disc drive, but you will be able to have an add-on. If there is a PS6 model with a disc drive already in there, wow, then that's actually fantastic. Look, I'm not going to lie, that is fantastic for gaming, but I would assume that you will be able to get a disc drive for the PS6. It wouldn't make sense to just go completely digital at this point. It might happen in the future, but I still think there is far too much pushback. So naturally, we would expect it to play PS5 games. And I would assume PS4 as well. If it can't, I still think it's a missed opportunity, because PS4 is going to be hugely popular for many, many years to come. But then we get into the realms of PS3. Would it be able to play PS3 games? Would it be able to play PS2 games? Would it be able to play PS1 games? I don't know. Look, Sony, if you ever watch this, which you won't, I think you should. And I'll explain the reasoning why I think you should. It is a huge selling point. Jim Ryan said, why do people want to play old games? Well, Jim Ryan was wrong. People still want to play old games. Look, I collect for PS3 still. I love PS3 games. I love that generation. I love that era. I've started collecting for PS2 now as well. PS1 maybe not so much, but I'm trying to get hold of some good old PS2 games that I used to have back in the day. You'll find people like me who are millennials who want to play these games. You'll find even older generations of people who want to play these old games because they have nostalgia. And Sony can really capitalise on that. But I don't think they will at that point, because they don't make money from selling Mortal Kombat Trilogy to you on the PS1, because you buy that off eBay or some other store. They don't make money if you want to play Time Splitters. They don't make money if you want to play Tales of Xillia on the PS3. It's all about money. Now, the good thing to do, the right thing to do, would be to find some way of making the PlayStation 6 backwards compatible with every PlayStation possible. Okay, look, yeah. It's probably not going to be compatible with your Vita, and most likely not going to be compatible with your PSP either. Ape Academy 2. So, yeah, fine. The mobile versions of them, the Vita and the PSP, okay, fine. Leave them aside. We'll just deal with PlayStation 1 to 6. If the PS6 can genuinely find a way to play PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5, and PS6 games, that is a marketing goldmine for Sony. because they can look at it and say, well, we can still sell PlayStation 5 games, still play PlayStation 4 games, we can still sell them, make a profit. But we can also sell all these consoles because people now want to play all of these old games. And it will sell and sell and sell. You look at the people who are still wanting to buy a PlayStation 3. Yes, that's right, a PlayStation 3. People still want to buy it. A PlayStation 2. I mean, yes, I got these games here, but you need a PlayStation 2, a PlayStation 1. You know, why not have that all-encompassing console as the last big hurrah for the console generations? Because, look, there is talk of the console generations dying out and there'll be no more consoles. Microsoft has already kind of started that off. You know, this is an Xbox, that's an Xbox, this is a cat box, this is a bento box. Like, shut up, Microsoft. They've started that. You know, you can put your Xbox on anything. And that's the way gaming will probably go. So it is reasonable to say that the last PlayStation, PlayStation 6, could be the last PlayStation, literally. So does that not make sense to Sony to say, okay, let's find a way to get all of these PlayStation games playable? Because we could keep selling this PlayStation 6 for decades. Literally decades. And they could make absolute killing if they do that. It makes sense. Financially, no, they wouldn't make money on the games. They wouldn't make money on Ape Escape 2. They wouldn't make money on Minecraft on PSP, on Vita. And they definitely wouldn't make money on Tales of Xillia on the PlayStation 3. They'll just do a remaster version. Still waiting for their remastered version of that on PS5, actually. Anyway, my point is that they could easily blow the competition out of the water if they allow us gamers to play all these old games on modern hardware. It would make sense. How they do it, I don't know. Emulation? Maybe. But if you think about it, the PlayStation 6 is going to be one hell of a powerful console. Naturally, more powerful than the PS5. Is it reasonable to say the PlayStation 5 can play PS5 games? Yes. Is it reasonable to say the PlayStation 5 can play PS4 games? Yes. Is it reasonable to say the PlayStation 5 can play PS3 games? Obviously, but you can't. Is it reasonable to say that it can play... You get the idea. The PS5 is powerful enough to play all of these consoles, so naturally the PS6 is going to be powerful enough to play PlayStation 3 games. Just find a way to do it, Sony. Whether that means putting, it's a big box and it's got a chipset of the PS3. I don't fully understand how consoles work. I get it. I know how they work, but I don't understand the intricacies of a lot of it these days. I used to many years ago, you talk about Dreamcast, whatever. But the idea is, could they not, even if it's not emulation, get a physical PS3 in there? Because, yes, the PS3 was huge when it came out, but logically, you could probably fit a PSP on a board that big now because of how technology has advanced. And I think technology has advanced far enough for us to be able to play these old PlayStation games on modern hardware. Sony, do it. Seriously, you will sell millions, hundreds of millions of PlayStation 6s if you make it completely backwards compatible. It can be done. Look, if Microsoft can get all these games running on a Series X, of course you can do it on a PlayStation 6. Seriously. Anyway, what do you think about backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 6? Will it or should it be all-encompassing? Or should it just do PlayStation 6 games and that's it? Will it hold us back? I don't know. But you have to admit that there is a lot of nostalgia out there. There are a lot of people who want to play these old games, even more so now than 10 years ago. Let me know what you think of it all in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.